The Green Bay Packers. Yes, the Green Bay Packers are the first number 7 team to win a playoff game and advance to the divisional round. I was getting crap left and right all week. Well, basically the last couple of days from Cowboys fans, basically saying I'm gonna enjoy the Packers getting their butts whooped on Sunday. I'm gonna enjoy just beating them down. But look what happened. The Packers got up to a 27-0 lead, and the rest, as they say, was history because the Packers win 48-32, beating the Dallas Cowboys and showing them to a off season full of questions to be answered. And a lot of them that probably won't be answered right away, or maybe they will. But let's get into it. Jordan Love was fantastic today once again. Perfect passer rating for 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 5 incompletions on the day. Had no issues whatsoever today, other than maybe 1 or 2 passes that you could say was over or underthrown. It was just nothing short of fantastic. And he had no pressure whatsoever. He had all day long in the pocket to throw. He didn't have to worry at all because Zach Tom, who's not going to get a lot of credit for this game, but he should, he kept Chandler Parsons in check all day long. And maybe Parsons was able to get maybe 1-2 pressures all day long, but really, Zach Tom did his job, and he looks like the Packers' real left tackle of the future. He was fantastic. I mean, Rasheed Walker is a good alternative at left tackle, but Zach Tom stood tall for basically all day long, and the Packers have a bright future with that offensive line. Yes, there's still some things on there that I would like to see change, but other than that, there's really nothing bad to say because Jordan Love took no sacks today whatsoever. Aaron Jones, old Aaron Jones, looks better than ever. And it's just amazing to see. Like, all he needed was time. All he needed was time to recover, get over his injuries, and now he looks so fresh. Over 20 carries, 118 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns, and the Cowboys had no answers for him either. Really had no answers for the Packers offense at all. Could not stop them for basically any stretch of the time. Packers had like 2 punts the whole day, and really they came at garbage time where the Packers were thoroughly in the lead, even though it got a little scary towards the end, thinking like maybe if things fall where they are, the Cowboys could pull off a miracle comeback. But we all knew that wasn't going to happen. Come on. The Cowboys knew that wasn't going to happen. Come on. But yeah, let's go to the wide receivers. Christian Watson didn't have the best day, but him being out there was a huge advantage for the Packers. Running decoy routes, taking defenders' attention away from everybody else, and giving guys like Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft had a couple catches in there. The time they needed to make big catches for big yards, and they were just running all over them. I mean, really, like I said, Love had 5 incompletions on the day, and Wicks could not be stopped. Romeo Doubs had over 150 yards and a touchdown as well. And Luke Musgrave had that fantastic touchdown. It's just like, how do the Cowboys give up such a touchdown? It was basically at that point after the Packers scored that it was over. It was over. You could tell then that all the air in AT&T Stadium was just sucked out. It was just sucked out, and the Cowboys fans really, truly gave up. And then for a good measure, the Packers score again. And let's not forget that awesome pick 6 by Darnell Savage to really put screws to the Dallas Cowboys towards the end of the first half. That really, really made them thinking, oh, see this again, another year, another disappointment, another falling apart at the seams. When you have all the advantages in the world, you have the better offense, you have the better defense, you just have everything better, but yet the lesser team beats your ass all day long. Let's talk about the Cowboys a little bit. Dak Prescott again falls apart. Yes, when you look at his stats at the end of the game, think, oh, he didn't have such a bad game. But then when you look at his stats towards the end of the halftime, didn't have over 100 yards, had a couple interceptions, and just looked awful. He was awful. He didn't have it at all today. Tony Pollard got some good runs here and there, but really, he was really a non-factor for most of the game. CeeDee Lamb was held to 0 receptions in the first half. I mean, they had no chemistry between him and Dak. No chemistry whatsoever. They could not get anything going. Or CD had a couple drops that were totally drops. And I think the biggest thing in this game where it could have gone completely different was early in the first quarter, the Packers' first drive. There's that defensive holding penalty by the Cowboys. If there's no penalty there, Packers probably go to 3-10. The crowd is still loud. Still a rookie quarterback in the situation. Who knows what could happen? But that defensive holding penalty gave them the first down, and after that, they were just off to the races, and then they just ran it down their throats left and right. I mean, the first couple plays, the Packers ran 2 right up the gut. Aaron Jones stuffed. Nothing. Like maybe 1-2 yards total. But then that defensive holding penalty coming, and yes, it was a defensive holding penalty that came in totally jerked him off his route. Didn't have no chance to have any chance to catch the ball, and it was an obvious penalty. But if that penalty doesn't happen, maybe the game turns out differently. But we're not going to go into alternative realities. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I don't have to look back at this game because, again, this game is all gravy, and the Packers proved me right. And the Packers won. The Packers beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys once again fall apart during the biggest time. They just cannot do it. And thank you all who commented on my last video and made it such a success. It's my best video I've made so far on this channel, so I appreciate it all. And I do like the contrition that I got from some Dallas Cowboys fans saying, like, taking the L. It's like, I appreciate that. Like, we're all fans of the game. We all rib and razz each other, but it's all for the love of the game. We don't really have any hate and hurt for fans, except maybe for Eagles fans, because we know how Eagles fans are, and Patriots fans too. But it's just a complete victory for the Packers. There was a couple plays. There was that phantom penalty on Tony Pollard, the phantom horse collar tackle that just wasn't a horse collar. And again, there's another situation where the Cowboys really could have came in, where they scored a touchdown, we're going for the 2-point conversion, have a stupid offensive pass interference penalty, and it just really took them out of it because there was a penalty, they go back, and they're pushed back, and it's like they're at the 10-yard line. They're not going to kick, or they're not going to try and go for the 2-pointer, so they end up going for the extra point, which starts at the 15-yard line is where they kick off in all extra point situations, and then they take the 10-yard penalty, and then they had the extra penalty from the kickoff or from the field goal, and then he misses the extra point. I mean, by that point, Dallas was still kind of out of it, but it really changed the complexity and really assured that the Cowboys were going to indeed lose the game. Now, I don't know how confident I feel about the Packers against San Francisco, but they do have a good shot, at least to make it a game. They do have a good shot to make it the game. I don't know if I'm going to pick them to win. I'll still have to have my thoughts, go through it over the next couple of days, whether they can win. But I think they could win. I mean, there's no reason to doubt the Packers right now. They came in and obliterated the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, the score looked like at the end that it was sure, but it wasn't. The Packers were winning 48-16 in the fourth quarter. And yes, the Cowboys made it somewhat interesting at the end, but it was not a shootout. Those are all garbage time points that came at the end. The Packers had given up or just put in some backups or just trying to run out the clock. It wasn't a shootout. The Packers were 48-16. The Packers win. They totally deserve it today. Go Pack, go for sure. And it's going to be a very tough test next week against San Francisco. But again, no Arron Rodgers. We know what kryptonite the San Francisco 49ers have been to Arron Rodgers. Jordan Love has never played the 49ers. So this will be his first real test in the playoffs. I mean, this was a real test for sure, even though it was as lopsided as it was a test. And Jordan Love showed that he can be a star quarterback for years to come, and that young receiving core is only going to get better. Now the real thing for the Packers next year, regardless of when the season ends, as much as I love AJ Dillon goes. Packers draft a real future running back to replace him, and we're behind Aaron Jones. So that when Aaron Jones starts to really, the tires start to chip and tear, then somebody else can come in. Blake Corum would be a great running back addition to the Packers. I know I'm not the GM, but we can all dream of what things that the Packers could draft. But Packers next week against the 49ers. Don't know when the game is exactly, so hopefully it's like one of the later games, but it's going to be a good game regardless. And you just can't doubt the Packers after the game today. The Packers just look great on all phases of the game. And yes, Andrews Carlson missed again, so probably you need to get a new kicker next year. I mean, at this point in the season, for him to keep missing kicks like he has at the shorter distances that he's been kicking, just gotta find at least somebody to push him in training camp. See if we can get a different kicker, because I just don't think he's the answer. None of his kicks ever look pretty. But Jordan Love was great. The Packers were great. The Packers defense showed up. And Joe Barry may have just saved his job. And maybe, just maybe, Joe Barry will be around next year. Still think that's kind of a long shot, considering how the season has gone. But maybe, just maybe, he'll be there. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. We all have things to say. I'd love to hear from you, Cowboy fans. Really, truly, I want to hear from you. We can all talk nice to each other in this game, but especially from the Packer fans, I want to hear from you what your expectations are for the game against the 49ers and if they have a realistic shot. I think they do, but we'll see what happens. Have a great day. God bless, and go Pack, go.